Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are doing this as part of our oral history series for the Norwich Historical Society. And this afternoon, we're talking with Creighton K. Creighton K lived, and I think still lives, his life in the Thamesville section of Norwich. And he's going to share some things about his own life growing up there, and hopefully about Thamesville and the schools and that kind of thing. When did you come to Norwich, Creighton?
We moved, we moved to Norwich from Fall River, Massachusetts, right at the stock, right after the stock market crashed in 1929.
Is that right?
And we moved to Thamesville.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived on Spring Garden Avenue, and we lived there for a few years. And then we moved over onto Keir Avenue. And I think I was about 14, I think, at the time. And I attended, went to Elizabeth Street School.
You didn't go to West Thames Street?
No, I didn't go to West Thames Street. I went to Elizabeth Street School. I think I started in the 7th grade. And I was, I graduated from there in 1932, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And that, after I went to Norwich Free Academy.
Uh-huh.
But there, I went 2 years at the academy.
Mm-hmm.
And I say,
What do you remember about Elizabeth Street School? Do you remember any of the people or any of the teachers or any of your
I
classmates?
remember most of the teachers. I had, I think the Shannon sisters.
Yes,
The Shannon
both.
sisters. And
Yeah.
Miss Sharachevsky, I think she was a 6th grade teacher.
She was.
And then I had Miss, oh golly, what's her name?
Wilcox, I bet.
Miss Wilcox, she was a history teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had, I forget the 8th grade teachers.
Well, Mary Ward. Do you remember
Miss
Mary?
Mary Ward, that name was
In the
right
8th grade. She
8th.
also was the principal way back.
Well, I was when Mr. Stanton was the
Really?
principal. Stanton was the principal.
We named a school after him.
Right. Did you want to know some of the pupils I went to?
Sure.
Well, I used to play a lot with Freddie Ross and Joe DeBarros. Then they were the Tedeschi twins. They were the Marie and Annette Tedeschi and their brother Paul. And I think there was a brother John, I think was the older. And
One of them was an artist, right? One of the Tedeschis?
I think they were.
Paul.
I think it was. I think it was Paul. Let's see.
Who were some of the other people from Thamesville that lived near you?
Oh, Thamesville. There's the Ward family, Jack Ward, Evelyn Ward, and there was the in Thamesville there was the Browns. There was Walter and Walter, Catherine, Neil, and there was another one, Leona. Leona. And then the police officer was John McNally. I remember him.
He lived on Spring Garden Avenue. Down in the lower part of Thamesville, there was some manufacturing.
So the only thing most of the thing was down there was the American Woolen Company.
Okay.
Then they had the metal company.
International Silver.
International Silver. And then there was the, oh really?
A lot of the people who lived in Thamesville worked at those two places,
That's
I
right.
think.
That's right.
Yeah.
There weren't too many jobs to offer during the Depression. And as a matter of fact, both myself and my brother all worked in the American Woolen Company
Did
for
you?
a few years. And then my oldest brother worked for the Norwich Gas and Electric for
Okay.
a while.
Mhm.
And then, let's see, in 1941, I was drafted into the Army.
You were drafted.
Drafted into the
Part of
Army.
that
As
draft.
a matter of fact, I was drafted with Luke Riley, Julian Rieski,
Familiar names.
Suriname, and let's see who else was there. Paul Marshall.
Hmm.
So it's,
You all went at the same time?
yeah, we all went March 15th, 1941. As a matter of fact, I think we were the first draft out of Norwich.
Is that right?
I think, I won't bet at it, but I think that's what we were in 1941. And
That was kind of the end of the Depression, right?
that was near the end of the Depression. But then when I came back, I worked over at the state hospital for 30 years.
Oh, my goodness,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in between that, worked up at the Derby Gas and Electric in Derby for
Oh.
7.5, 8 years.
Where did you serve when you were in the service?
Where did I serve? I served over in the South Pacific and the Northern Solomons.
Did you?
Yeah.
You saw some heavy fighting?
Well, I wouldn't say heavy fighting, but we saw fighting. I believe I could think that most of the time our outfit was more or less of a holding outfit.
Oh, okay.
It's, in 43rd Division.
Mhm.
And, but
How did you happen to go to New Zealand?
well, they got,
I know you went to New Zealand because your wife is a New Zealander.
yes, I know.
Yeah, you
Because I told you. But when I was in the islands, I got malaria.
Oh, okay.
I had malaria, and I had what they call coral poison, tropical ulcers.
Okay.
So they sent me back to New Zealand. And when I got to New Zealand, I was in the hospital in New Zealand, and they didn't send me back. I was supposed to go back to the islands.
Oh,
But I really think that the people there with the Yale unit knew that I had worked at the Bacchus Hospital for a few years
before you went in the service?
before I was in the service.
Yeah.
This was in 1930, around 35, 36, around there. And I don't know if you knew Edith Heap. She used to be a nurse at the Bacchus.
No.
And anyway, they didn't send me back. They sent right to the service. So I think they might have pulled a few strings and kept me there, you know.
So did you come home from New Zealand?
I came home from New Zealand. I was home when I got married in New Zealand. You knew that. You know, I got married in 1944.
Okay.
And I came home a year before my wife.
Oh.
And I was in Camp Edwards
Uh-huh.
for a month, for a year anyway.
Mhm.
And I was discharged in 1945.
Mhm. And when you came back, you went to work did you say you went to work at the Norwich Hospital when you came back?
I went to Norwich. Well, no, first of all, I worked in Derby.
Yes.
I worked in Derby for
yeah.
about 7.5, 8 years. And then they liquidated the gas plant, so I came back to Norwich. And that's when I worked into the,
What do you remember about the Norwich Hospital in those days?
what do I remember about it? Well, it's depressing.
Was-
You know,
it was depressing then?
It was kind of depressing
It was
because
a lot of people, a lot of clients, a lot of patients.
I know, but I mean, when I worked in the Libet building where they had the shock treatments and things like that.
Is that right?
And, you know, just watch them go through that.
Did you work in the same place for all those years?
No, I worked in the Lippert building, and I worked in the Kettle building.
That was new.
That was one of the new, and then Lodge. I worked in
Yeah.
the Lodge building,
That was new.
yeah.
Salmon was old.
I never worked on Salmon. That's the prison ward.
That was the prison
That
building.
was a prison ward.
Yeah.
But it was depressing, and yet it was interesting, you know what I mean? And,
The Russell building was like the canteen building.
right, it was,
Yeah.
Russell Building.
30 years was a long time to work there.
Did you hear what that lady said? She was there for 35. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a major employer.
It was a major employer, and it was a good employer for you know for the people that worked there. They get the benefits and things like that.
Right.
But
At one point, I think it was the largest employer
right.
in the area. Yeah.
But just be a lot of depression years. From what I can remember, a lot of the fellows joined the CC camps.
Oh, yes.
And WPAs. As a matter of fact, I worked in a WPA when I was about 16, 17 years
right?
old. Not very many days, maybe a couple of days a week,
Yeah.
spreading sand after they tarred the roads.
And
But there, like I say, there weren't very many jobs around, you know.
so the WPA, they did some wonderful projects.
WPA and it's the,
And the Civilian Conservation Corps.
yeah.
That was like a camp, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was more or less like an army camp, like, you know. Of course, I was too young to get into that, but I did work on the WPA, you know,
Here in Norwich?
in Norwich, yeah.
Yeah. What was your father doing in those days?
My father was a machinist, and when we moved from Fall River, he got a job in the engine room at the American Woolen.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, he lost his job in Fall River, and when he came to Norwich, this fellow that he grew up with was a boss.
Okay.
He got my father a job there.
Yeah.
So
And that was another reason why you moved to Thamesville, I'm
that's
sure.
favorite thing. So,
Because that's where his job was. Yeah.
but you know, there were not jobs around, but people were happy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They were
Yeah.
They were happy, and there was no because everybody was in the same boat.
That's right.
You know. And
You grew up poor, but you didn't know you were poor because everybody was
Yeah.
poor.
And we were fortunate, you know, fortunate to have a job,
Right.
any kind of a job. Fortunately, we had the trolley cars going, you know, east, west, north, and south. And
Did you go to Ocean Beach
on
on the trolley?
the trolley, I don't think so. I don't. As a matter of fact, when we used to get down to hear the bands down at Ocean Beach, you know.
Oh, really?
And the big band here in 1940,
Oh.
1938, 39, 40. They used to get down there. Used to hitchhike.
Oh, is that right?
Right.
That's how you got there.
That's how we get down there.
Not the trolley or the bus.
That's a trolley.
And of course, the buses took the place of the trolleys after World War
yeah.
II.
Do you remember when they took the trolleys off?
No.
I can't remember.
No, we had them up until World War II, as I remember.
Did they have them that long?
Yeah, I can remember going to Ocean Beach on the trolley. The
Oh,
open trolleys.
1940.
That's something we ought to look up.
Yeah, 1940s. I thought it was earlier than that, but
I don't know. I
don't
I
know.
really don't.
and then,
I didn't think we had the buses until after World War II, but you think we did.
I think that was afterwards. You mean seat?
Mm.
Yeah, I think it was afterwards.
I don't know.
They used to have taxis, you know, not many, but they had them.
Uh-huh. Pretty run down, most of them, those taxis. Oh, dear. What else?
What else?
You know, did you sing in the choir?
You know something? I sang in a choir in Trinity Church.
Did you
I went to
really?
Trinity Church.
Now, some of
I
the
was-
people, some of the people that are going to be listening to this, as we store these tapes in our archives, don't have any idea about Trinity Church. What can you tell us about Trinity Church?
Well, I can't remember the years that I went there, but the Reverend Brown was there at Trinity Church, and I was confirmed in Trinity Church.
Were you? That must have been around when you were 12.
I would say that probably, 12, 13. Yeah. When I was singing in the choir
Tell me where it was.
on Church Street,
Is it there now?
I'm trying to place it.
Well, never mind.
I can't. I don't think it is.
No, I
don't
don't think it
think
is
it is.
either, or I would know.
As a matter of fact, I think I had a picture at home of myself and my brother, oldest brother in the choir, standing on the steps with the choir.
Oh, do you have that
I
picture?
think I have, and if I got it, I'd be glad to show it to you.
Yes,
I think I
and
have.
and write on the back the names of the people that you know.
Well, if I can remember them.
Well, you know who your brother was.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You
my
know that
brother.
one, yeah.
And then the Stellas.
But you didn't sing in the choir.
I sang in the choir.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, my brother was Crucifer, and he used to sing in the choir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't remember how I got to go to Christ Church, but it wasn't too long after we were confirmed, or after I was confirmed, that my parents went over to Christ Church, and we were there.
They had a bigger choir.
They had a big choir, and we used to serve on the altar.
Is that right?
Served on the altar and everything else.
Oh,
And
okay.
Father Ritchie was the one that we were there.
Right.
And then there was, because after we had a little few squabbles with this, what was his name? The young minister. I can't think of his name off. Anyway, we went to St. James down in New London.
Oh,
for
did you?
about 4 or 5 years.
Did you really?
All of us went down there. But we finally came back.
You came
and
back. Came back home.
Came back home.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was
Yeah.
an experience. What else?
Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to talk about? We talked about Sunday. What about Sunday school? Do you remember who any of your Sunday school teachers were?
Let me see. In Trinity Church, I can remember, I think there was a Rose Standish, I think.
Oh, yes, Rose Standish. She died just recently, you
Yeah,
know.
she was, I think I had her for a teacher.
She lived in Thamesville.
I didn't think so.
Had a
Yeah,
brother?
yeah, Alden.
Yes.
Alden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alden Standish was
Yeah.
her brother. She came back to Norwich when she retired, and she just passed away just a few months ago.
I'd like to know if he's still living, if Alden is still living, because
No, I think in her obituary it said that he was not.
he died too.
Yeah.
Do you know that actually, I'm the only one left in our family too.
Really?
Yeah,
And where were you in your family?
I was
First,
second.
you were second.
I
And
mean-
how many?
There were 3 boys.
3, no girls?
Well, no girls. Just that my adopted sister.
Right. Is that
Well,
right?
she's passed away. My older brother passed away. No, first of all, my mother passed away in 1960. My oldest brother passed away in 1970. And my dad passed away in 1971.
Well, we're lucky that, we're getting a chance to talk to you because when a lot of those people are gone.
Right?
All of the McGinnises are gone.
All of them are gone?
Yeah.
How about the Tedeschi's? They all gone?
Yep.
the two twins too,
Mm-hmm.
Paul and John, and let's see who else in there. I know Jack Ward.
Do you mind if I ask you how old you are?
I'll be 80. I'll be 88 in October.
Okay. Well, they're all around that age.
Yeah, I know Jack Ward is dead. I don't-
Evelyn's dead. Dorothy's gone.
How about the Browns? Do you know that?
Neil is gone. Walter died before Neil.
He
And there
did.
was a sister. I don't know
There's
about her.
Catherine and Leona.
I don't know about them.
Let's see, and then there was let's see, who else? The Aherns. It was Catherine Ahern, John Ahern, Michael Ahern, and Lawrence Ahern. They lived on Summit Street.
Right.
And while I was growing up in Thamesville, off of Stetson Street, going up the hill, Treat used to have their ice cream parlor, the ice cream place.
Their plant where they made the ice cream?
Yeah, that was
Treat's ice cream?
Yeah, Treat's ice cream. That was a popular place. And down just below them, I believe it on Brown Street, I think it's Brown Street, used to be the Balkans. Dudley Balcom and his father was a piano teacher.
Mm-hmm. On Stetson Street.
Yeah. And getting back to Trinity Church, what's her name? Mildred Whiteman used to be the organist at Trinity Church.
Okay.
She passed away.
And she lived in that area too?
She lived just off of, as you come down Deer Avenue, you come down and you turn the west to her house is right over here in the corner. Yeah.
Well, that's why we need to get these stories from the people who can still tell them.
Yeah.
Because so many, so many are
I
not
can
anymore.
remember the
Joe DeBarros, is he still living?
Joe DeBarros, I don't know. He was a black lad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tall,
And then there was the
handsome.
Delaire family in Thamesville. Not in Thamesville, but run by the.
Well, they were right near there. They were in Thamesville.
And let's see who else it was.
Their father was a stonemason and had all that wonderful stonework
Right,
around the house.
right. Then it was the Bokoffs. The Bokoff store was on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then
The
they
Thames
had
Square.
The Thames Square, the Chapel Company, Chapel Coal Company,
Right.
and McMahon's,
Market.
like a McMahon's Market.
And they lived on Kinney Avenue in Thamesville.
Right. And coming back to Franklin Square, they used to have the Mohegan Market.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was,
The butter store. What was the name of the butter store? Across the street. Ames?
Ames.
Ames what?
And then there was Fagan's Smoke Shop.
Oh, was that on Franklin Square?
Frank, that was on, where the bank,
Mm-hmm.
the bank and the bank is here on the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the next little building, little
Okay.
place, Fagan's Smoke Shop. Then it was Trachtenberg's
Lou Hawkins Florist
Florist.
was next door to the...
And if I can remember correctly, I think where the old where the courthouse is now, it used to be the 5 and 10 at one time, then it moved. It moved over onto Franklin Square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Did you people have an automobile?
oh, yes. We had a 1933 Essex. And when we used to go into the Gardner's Lake, we used to all have to get on, push it up the hill.
Oh,
But
dear.
we had actually we had a good time coming. Because the people that, like I say, everybody was in the same boat, and we got along. Everybody used to play all kinds of games. We played baseball. We used to play kick the can. We played peggy ball, ring-a-levio, you name it. All in that area in Thamesville.
And you all played together?
All played boys and girls, everything.
Mhm.
And there was Charlie Rogers, because I think he's passed away. And it was Charlie and Evelyn Rogers, the Robinsons.
It's the Sinays.
Huh?
The Sineys, Terry
Sinays,
Sinay.
Terry and Ralph.
Yeah.
That's about it. When we lived on Spring Garden Avenue, we lived above Officer McNally.
Oh,
He was
really?
our landlord.
That's Spring Garden Avenue had a lot of up and down
There was
duplexes.
Four of them.
Uh-huh.
Four of them together.
Uh-huh.
Sinays was on the opposite side, right on the corner of Spring Garden Avenue and Brown Street. Yeah. And there was Wisniewski's.
Well, there weren't a lot of cars on the street,
No,
so you
there
could
weren't,
play
no.
wherever you wanted to
Right.
play.
Yeah, played out in the
And the
road.
cars who were there went slow.
No, they went. And we had a 1925 Ford, you know, where they used to have the lights, you know, almost like a candle. They were very bright.
Oh.
But
But how did you get to high school?
walk
Okay, from Thamesville.
for a lot from Thamesville.
Uh-huh. And how
And I-
did you get to Elizabeth Street School?
Walk, we walked through the lots.
Right. And you came home for lunch? At Elizabeth
Yes,
Street
used
School?
to come home for lunch.
Yeah. Walked 4 times a day from Thamesville to Elizabeth Street. And twice a day to NFA, whether it was raining or snowing or whatever.
Right.
It's a different-
I wish I was able to go through it again. I'd study.
Oh, really?
I would put my toe to the wheel. Where I was so foolish, so fortunate I went to high school.
You didn't?
Because we had good teachers,
Oh, yeah.
really good teachers. And
Do you remember any of those?
I remember my science teacher was Mr. Seabolt.
Oh, yeah.
My printing teacher was Pete Carberry.
Oh, yes.
I think my
Mr. Bradlaugh was there.
Mr. Bradlaugh was there too.
He lived in Thamesville.
Right. He's passed away too.
Yeah.
I think
They're naming the building, or they named the building after him.
Larry Seabolt died not too long ago. Mr. Bitgood was athletic director.
Right.
He was a nice man. All the teachers were all nice. They were not Mr. Case, Mr. Bradlaugh.
Did you have Mr. Case?
No, I didn't have him. I had. This goes back a ways.
You didn't mention any women.
I had Miss O'Connell.
Okay.
Miss O'Connell.
She was so pretty.
Was it Miss Church?
There was one.
Miss Church, I believe I had her for. And I had Miss Triplett and Miss.
Did you?
What's her call for art? Miss Triplett and.
You took art.
I took off for a while. And there was another one in there that was. What was her name?
What did she teach?
She was an art teacher too, I think.
Oh, okay.
What was her name?
I don't remember.
I can't remember her name, but I'll think about it when
Yeah,
I get
it'll
it.
come. You're doing very well remembering all these names.
Oh, yeah.
You do.
Like,
Anything else about the story of your life that you want to share with history? Good or bad? Anything.
No. I think I've had a good life, really.
Sounds as if you raised Cain in high school.
Oh, I was a naughty boy. I was a real naughty boy.
Oh.
But
You got through it, and you're still here.
still here. You know, there's a lot of things that you think you're smart, and you're not smart at all. You finally grow up after 60, 70 years. But
Have you shared this stuff with your kids? You have a daughter that I know of, don't you?
what? Have I shared it with them? To some extent, I think I have. Yeah.
Okay, well, you can share the tape with them,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Oh, I can share the tape.
the tape of this with your kids.
Oh, why? What are you going to do? Give me one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, aren't you a nice lady?
Isn't me. It's Adelphia that's so nice.
No.
Anything else? Anything funny or sad or anything that you want to...
Well, of course, it's sad when you lose your parents and you lose your relatives and things like that. And
How old were you when you lost your parents? All grown up?
I was grown. It was, let's see, my oldest brother. I think I was 55. No, my oldest brother died when he was 55, and I was 2 years younger, so I was just 53. And my mother died in 1960, so I would have been, let's see, I was born 1916, and she died
44.
60,
44.
24,
44.
44. And my dad died in 1971, and my younger brother.
Well, you had your parents quite a long time.
I did.
Yeah.
My father would have been 82 in 1971.
You're a long-lived family, some of you.
My mother was 73. My oldest brother was 55.
That wasn't old.
No, and my young brother, he just missed his 50th anniversary. And I think he was married in 1942. 42.
Well, it's been fun having you share this stuff with us. Now we've got
Well,
it down. And
well,
I'm telling you, you know where to find me if you think of other
yeah,
things.
like I say, if I can find that picture
Right.
of St. James Church,
Trinity.
Trinity Church, I'm pretty sure I got it at home.
Okay.
And I know my wife's in the other room. She's probably laughing her head off.
Okay. Oh dear.
No,
All right. It was good to have you.
well, I won't say that I wasn't nervous, but I mean, I'm all right now.
Yeah. See, once you get
Once you get
going.
started, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I can think of anything else, we had my parents had a Buick, a Gardner, and a Ford, and an Essex.
What was the second one? A Buick, a what? Did you say Gardner?
A Gardner, Gardina, or Gardner.
That was an automobile?
Oh, I don't know if it was like a touring car.
Never heard of it.
Well, there was one.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
The others
So
I've
nice.
heard of, but I never heard of that.
Yeah.
No, not too many people had
No,
automobiles.
no.
No, not too many people had automobiles.
Then we had Fords. My brother had a 1930, he had a 1936 Chevy and a 1932 Ford, with a rumble seat and two tires on the side.
yes, yes.
They're nice.
The rumble
But-
seat and the running board.
They're running good. But,
Okay,
Yeah,
very nice.
okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here.